Hi guys, it's Mrs. Winga here. We're going to be doing the next set of chapters for anybody here seen Frenchie. We're going to do, or you're going to probably see the girls and maybe the boys pop in and out while I'm reading. So let's just get started. We're going to start with chapter 6, Pebble Nest. Pebble Nest belongs to us. That's our big house that's on Flanders. Big, not fancy, just awesome. The place can sleep 10 people as long as they like each other. If you do 2 cartwheels down the lawn, then jump the scruffy hedge, you'll wind up on a half-circle beach that is covered with a bazillion smooth pebbles, all colors and kinds of rocks. Pop always says there's no better spot for a salty swim and a nap in the sun. We used to live there. Now we have an A-frame in the woods, and we rent Pebble Nest out by the week from May to October. Mom and Pop say that the money helps butter our bread. I say Pebble Nest is a reason to love Saturdays. That's when it's ours again. Saturday from 10:30 to 2:30 or 10:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. There's a price to pay. We have to clean the whole place from top to bottom. Some people wouldn't like the work of it, but it's different when it's a place you love. It's different when you love a place. Besides, we go at it like machines. We're almost always done by noon. Best thing we ever did was buy double of all the linens so we can take the washing home and bring it back clean the next week. Then, as long as the weather is even close to good, we can hit the beach to swim, hunt for rocks, or dig for clams. We have lunch up on the lawn. Feels like we live there again. We pack up at 2:30 because there has to be no trace of us there by 3 when the next renters arrive. Please stop, Gabby. Sometimes it's families. Sometimes it's a bunch of yoga people or watercolor artists. It's always people from away. Frenchie comes to Pebble Nest with us every week now without his mom. But it didn't start out like that. The whole first year, Gracia came too. She barely let Frenchie out of her sight. Gracia helped us learn to watch him and to see all the different ways Frenchie can be. He can get upset, not often, but he's not a tantrum kid. But if he gets overwhelmed, he shuts down. He tucks up on the ground and wraps his arms over his head. Gets me right in the heart. But Gracia says it's Frenchie's way of claiming the space he needs to get through the upset. The best strategy is to catch it before it happens. But if it does, we let Frenchie know that we are there for him. And I think he gets that. Put your shirt down. Frenchie's comfortable with us. For 2 summers now, he's been showing up at the door to the A-frame every Saturday morning, ready to go to Pebble Nest. It's nice for us, and it's nice for Gracia, Mom says. It isn't easy being a single parent. I get that. Pretty sure all parents like breaks. Gracia beams when she sees Frenchie hop out of our van at the end of Saturday. She gets him back again, and it's like her boy is all her eyes can see. Makes me smile, even when I'm not thinking about smiling. I love that Frenchie comes to Pebble Nest. He helps. I know he knows to take the bin full of recycling out of our van. He knows to take the bin full of recycling out to our van. He slides the empty bin underneath the kitchen sink, right where it belongs. There are some of the things Frenchie gets. Can't tell you why. In the upstairs bedrooms, I play tornado. I whip the sheets off the bed and spin the pillows right out of the cases. Frenchie piles the linens into the basket. Stop it. I always take a few bounces on the naked mattresses. The twin beds are great for back and forth. Of course, I'm not supposed to do that. Frenchie sees me, but he never but he'd never rat me out. When the beds are done, we dust. He's not the best at it, but he follows behind me with his own cloth. Good enough. The beach at Pebble Nest is where we taught Frenchie how to swim. We got right on that like Gracia wanted. Mom knew what to do. She said Frenchie should learn 2 things first: to hold his breath underwater and to float on his back and breathe. The beach was perfect because he could wade into the chilly water nice and easy. I was super excited. I wanted to splash like a sea lion. But I kept calm for Frenchie and Gracia too. We walked him out just far enough that all we had to do was bend our knees and lower ourselves underwater. I did all of the demonstrating. Breathing place, I said, and I stretched my arms high. Then I pointed down and said, no breathing below. I took a breath and lowered myself under. It felt like baby steps. But then one Saturday, Frenchie did like I did. He went under. He never choked, not once. I laughed at the way he kept his eyes open, even in the salty water. He was mostly a stare-at-nothing boy, but it seemed like Frenchie looked right at me whenever he was coming up for air. When he did the same with Gracia, she didn't laugh. She cried. Teaching him to float was harder. I'm not sure the idea of lying down on top of water made sense to him, even though I showed him 100 times. Sit back, then lie back. Even with Mom and Gracia on each side of him and their good old mom hands underneath him, he would not lie back. He kept sitting. She, way to give yourself a good dunking, I said. Our skin was starting to wrinkle. Frenchie's lips were blue. He shivered. I watched him sink back and sink one more time. Enough, I thought. Time to warm up in the sun. The sun! Oh, wait, I got it, I said. Frenchie, watch me. I motioned Mom and Gracia out of the way. Aurora, he's been watching you, Mom said. He's been staring, I said. Frenchie, look. I tilted my face up. Are you watching? Do you know what I feel right now? The sun on my face. It's up there. You know it is. Now I'm going to sit a little, then I'm going to lie back, and it's going to keep the sun on my face. I'm going to rest my whole self on the water. I slowly laid back with my ears underwater and my eyes half closed. I told him, here I am, just lying on the water, relaxing, breathing, and the sun is up there. Bet you I see a bird fly by. That's right, a bird. You've got to try this, Frenchie. Well, he did, face tilted up to the sun. He lay back and he made his body straight. That's it, Frenchie. Relax and breathe. He floated and floated, while Mom and Gracia and I clapped our hands and celebrated. If there's one thing Frenchie loves as much as birds, it's the sun. All right, chapter 7. 2 years ago, when the cedar came home. With Frenchie, Gracia right next door, it was like our family got bigger. That first winter, I asked Pop if we could build a covered bridge to connect the little house to the A-frame. He said Frenchie and I should build it out of snow. And we tried. There was a melt before we finished, but when more snow came and we can get dumped on here, Pop cleared a path with the snowblower from our door to Frenchie's door. We must have gone back and forth 10 times that day. We had 2 places to get cups of cocoa. When my little brother Cedar came along the next fall, Gracie and Frenchie helped like family would help. Cedar was adopted. That can take way longer than it takes to grow a baby. I mean, years. Mom and Pop couldn't have any more kids after me, so there's nothing to do but sign papers and wait. Forever. But funny how one day when we weren't expecting it, the call came. And boy, did we hop to it. Mom and Pop got in the car, and I went to stay the night with Gracia and Frenchie. In the morning, we came back to the A-frame. We cleaned and washed up my old baby clothes and some of Frenchie's too. We hung the crib sheets in the sun. I was glad the three of us were together because I was worried. When we had gotten ready for our new baby a few times before, and then no baby yet, no baby. All of us cried. We felt like someone was missing. But this time, Mom and Pop came home with our Cedar. Here's what I remember about that afternoon. First, our baby was crying his head off. He was pulling at his ears. He was leaving little bloody kitten scratches on his cheeks. Oh, poor little man, Mom said. He's got a double ear infection. Second, he had shiny black curls all over his head that laid down like little O's. Third, even though he was not as wincy as the newborns I had seen, he was still the smallest, twistiest, squirmiest little person I'd ever held in my arms. The fourth thing I remember was how I felt way deep inside, in the middle of me. I decided it had to be my heart melting. That made me laugh and then cry, and I looked at my parents, then back at Cedar, and I was laughing again. I knew I was going to love that screaming baby for the rest of my life. Cedar had fevers and misery for the whole first winter and on into mud season. He stayed up way past everyone's bedtime. He needed a lot of rocking and humming and dancing with Mom and Pop and even me. Frenchie and his mom came every day. Gracia would dance Cedar all around. Would dance Cedar all around the open floor plan of the A-frame, while Frenchie and I listened to bird calls at the computer, and Mom and Pop took naps. Cedar saw our pediatrician a lot. He sucked down syringes full of gloppy pink medicine. Then he threw it up and magically made it look twice as much. Mom and Pop took him to an ear doctor and a man called a naturopath, and a woman called an acupuncturist. Finally, summertime came and the ear troubles faded, at least for a while. It was like Cedar could start being Cedar. Mom and Dad think the warm, dry weather did it. Probably right. He had troubles again last winter. The infections come and go now. Not as bad. Still, we know there are times when Cedar doesn't hear us. The doctor said that might be why he doesn't talk much yet, and why he's hard to understand. The words probably sound right to him. They just aren't always clear to us. But he tries, so we try too. We listen. This year, Cedar finally called me by my name. He says, "Awoa," and I love it. Chapter 8. Darlene Dombrowski. At Mountain View School, we celebrate new siblings. I think it's nice that they say new siblings because sometimes the older kids are new too. Ever since kindergarten, I have been meeting everybody else's new siblings, mostly tiny babies. I had to get to 4th grade before it was finally my turn. I was ready to introduce my baby brother. Turned out to be the best day of school ever. Miss Santiago had our class measure Cedar in inches. Then we converted him to metric. We had to talk about adoption. We sang "You Are My Sunshine" and "What a Wonderful World." We ate cupcakes in Cedar's honor, and I got to take one home to our freezer. Cedar could have it when Mom and Pop decided he was old enough. And at the end, we set up a photograph of all of us together. I sat in the center holding Cedar, and my classmates crowded around all of us. I looked left, then I looked right. Oh, wait, where's Frenchie? I wanted to know. He'd gotten inched out again, all the way out to the end, almost out of the shot. "Make way, Frenchie, to the front," I called. Miss Santiago brought him up beside me. "This is our picture," I told him. "You and me and this new baby bird." I rocked Cedar in my arms. We got the shot. The next morning, Miss Santiago Santiago, gave me 2 prints of the photo. The large one is the frame for your family, she said, and I laminated a smaller one for you, Aurora, pocket size, so you can carry it with you. I thanked her, then I spun around the room, showing the picture to anyone who wanted to see it. During class, I put the picture onto my desk where I could sneak peeks at it, but Miss Santigno had asked if I had to ask if maybe the photo was too great a distraction for me. Last time, I promised her, I pushed it to the back of my desk. Before lunch and recess, I put that photo in my pocket of my shorts. Every day, Frenchie and I run from the edge of the blacktop across the playing field to the backstop. It's a 50-yard dash, according to our gym teacher. Of course, we run back again, so it's really 100. But this day, our art teacher, Miss Chandra, had put a big new bucket of sidewalk chalk. That always brings a swarm of artists. I couldn't resist. I grabbed a thick new stick of chalk and claimed a patch of the blacktop. Frenchie paced beside me. He was 20 feet away. Then he came back again and again and again. I knew he wanted to run. He counted on things to happen the same way every day. One quick chalk picture, I told him, okay? Then I heard a voice I knew. He doesn't know what you're saying. I scraped the tip of my chalk down hard. Darlene Dombrowski. If I had noticed that she was making chalk pictures too, I would have skipped it. One of my strategies at school is to stay clear of Darlene. I came up with that one on my own. He does know, I said. Look at his hands. I waited for her to put eyes on Frenchie. Emma Bowman and Milo Robinette looked up from their chalk art too. I figured, good, they will notice him. See him making those little fist squeezes? I asked. So what? Darlene shrugged. That's what he does when something isn't quite right. Like now, he's impatient and disappointed. He wants me to run with him. Darlene huffed and shook her head. She swung her shoulders. No. He might be a little upset that we're talking about him instead of to him. Or he might not like the way that you're talking to me, I added. Just saying. You don't know that. You're not his mind reader, Aurora. That made me think back to 3rd grade when Miss... Okay, I'm going to have to reread that last sentence because my boys decided to be really loud. So let's try that again. That made me think of back to 3rd grade when Miss Kingsley said that I was good at reading Frenchie's behavior. I watched the different ways he stood and moved his hands and fluttered his eyelids. Those things told me what his mind was up to and how he was feeling. So maybe I was Frenchie's mind reader. To me, it was funny. I tried to hold back a snicker, but it flew out anyway. Snort. That made Milo laugh. Then Emma laughed too. Darlene narrowed her eyes at me. Frenchie swept by again, still squeezing his hands open and closed. Hey, I'm trying to draw a cardinal for you, I said, but this red chalk is more like pink. Then I remembered the photo in my pocket. Frenchie would love to hold it for me. I jumped up. Hey, you want to look? I held the photo out. He put his hand up to take it, then paced away again, all in one motion. It's from our siblings' day, I called. He won't remember siblings' day, Darlene bobbled her head as she spoke. He definitely doesn't get that the baby is your brother. Your baby bird, she added not nicely. That's when I should have walked away from Darlene. But in the next second, Frenchie came striding up with the photo in his hand. He was looking at it closely, the same way he studied his bird pictures. So I had to go and say it. Hey, Darlene, check it out. I waved my chalk stick in Frenchie's direction. See how he's looking at the photo? He knows every person in it, including Cedar. You can't be sure. Well, when Frenchie is at our house, which is almost every day, He's the first one to hear Cedar fussing when he wakes up. He goes and stands beside the crib until someone comes and gets Cedar. Proves nothing, said Darlene. It proves everything. Then Emma Bowman piped up. Well, it sounds like he knows there is a baby, and he pays attention to him. Then Milo Robinite agreed. Then it got quiet. And then there it was, Darlene's crumpled face, the cry. This is the tough thing about her. The inside of her head tells her that everything is somehow mean to Darlene. There has been plenty of times her crying didn't go so well for me. So I jumped in. Don't cry, I said. If you don't believe me, fine, forget it. She sniffled and whimpered. I can't stand it when she does that. Both Emma and Milo got up and patted her back. It's okay, Darlene, you're fine. Miss Woodsum, who had recess duty that day, came over. Darlene's voice shook while she told Miss Woodsum that I told her a made-up story, lied to make her feel bad, and I laughed at her. Nope, not a lie. I pushed my hands deep into my pockets. It was a true story, an example, actually, and the laugh was just a noise that came out of me. Frenchie stood beside me, clenching the sibling day photo in one hand and making fist squeezes with his other. Emma and Milo and some other kids, ones who don't play with me or Frenchie or Darlene, actually stood up for me for the first time ever for that. Miss Woodsum walked Darlene over to the corner of the blacktop, and I don't know what got said there. She told me to wait. I was next. I folded my arms on my chest. Frenchie stood beside me, in his full no pose now, chin jutting. First, hey Frenchie, it's okay, I said. Just taking a bite out of recess is all, I sighed. Forget the chalk. We should be running our 100-yard dash. When Miss Woodsum took me to the corner, I told her exactly what happened. So can you see, I said, Darlene was terribly confused and wrong. Miss Woodsum walked me back to Darlene. She held us both by the hand, firm but gentle, which is infuriating, and said, Now, girls, Frenchie doesn't speak, but is a human being, just like each of you are. So let's always choose kindness, okay? What? Was she really saying that to me? Girls, do you both understand? Darlene nodded, but I shrugged. Aurora, Miss Woodsum pressed me. I'm kind to Frenchie, I said. I twisted my hands out of Miss Woodsum's, and I should not be in trouble right now. Aurora, you're not in trouble, Miss Woodsum said. Sure sounded stern. Remember that there's always something to learn with every disagreement. I disagree, I thought, but I didn't say it. Can I go now, please? Miss Woodsum said yes. I tossed the chalk back into the bucket. Frenchie, time to run. Ready, set, go! Chapter 9, Back to School Shopping. Mom and Gracia are sticking to all our back-to-school traditions. They know it's bugging me that Frenchie and I won't be together. Wait, hold on. Did I skip something? Oh. Mom's a freelance writer. Most of her articles are for the Great State Travel Guide of Maine. There's a Great State Travel Guide of New Hampshire, too, and Vermont, etc., etc. She makes space in her days by writing at night. She promises that we'll go to our usual lunch at Pickalicious Deli this year, with a stop at the Tanton Bay Suites afterwards. And, of course, the back-to-school clothes shopping trip at Rains. We always get that in before the crowds and before all the plaid shirts are gone. We're good at shopping. By that, I mean we move along so Frenchie doesn't get overwhelmed. A store like Rennie's can do that. Big space, big lights, and a lot of sounds and people. What's new this year is that Cedar's fast on his feet. The second we wrestle our cart through the door, he breaks away. Runner, I cry. Gracie is the closest. She lunges and misses. Frenchie's gazing up at the ceiling lights. He's got his needlepoint purse tucked against his side like always. He's not much for running after Cedar anyways. I'm on it. Cedar's little sneakers slap along the tiled floor. I chase him through the shoe department into the ladies' department. I run up behind him and almost knock him down. He points at a peg wall full of tote bags and pocketbooks. Ichi, he says. That's what he calls Frenchie. Yep, I said, those purses are kind of like Frenchie's, but we don't need one of those today. Cedar tree. I scoop him up. Lucky thing, he doesn't scream or twist, or worst of all, go limp. He can slide away like a hot stick of butter if he wants to. I run him back to meet our cart in the boys' department. Gracia is holding a pair of khaki pants up to the backside of Frenchie, checking for the fit. She gets the same kind every year, except longer. Easy peasy. 2 pairs in the cart. Mom hoists Cedar into the seat of the shopping cart. Let's hustle along, she sings, and Gracia laughs. All of us know Cedar won't stay put for long. Next stop, plaid shirts, I say. They have to be plaid. I lead the way. Gracia makes a quick decision about size, then holds up 3 shirts in different plaids. Frenchie, do you like these? She asks. He doesn't answer, but he doesn't take the no pose either. In fact, he puts his arms around all 3 shirts and carries them to the cart. Sometimes, when he does stuff like this, it makes Gracia cry. As for me, I find things in the boys and girls departments. Today, it's 3 pairs of boys sport shorts, double mesh. The hems hit below my knees, elastic waist with plenty of room, and my favorite thing, big, deep pockets in front. I wear shorts all year and leggings underneath when it's below freezing, and I'm not a kid who feels cold much. In the girls' department, I go round and round the racks, tapping every shirt on the shoulder with the palm of my hand. Nah, nope, yuck. Take another look, Mom says. I got my old stuff. It still fits. This argument is part of our back-to-school shopping tradition. Understood, Mom says, but your clothes have been worn hard, Aurora. It might be nice to have something without stains for picture day. I groan. Then I spot a rack of tank tops on it. They can be impossible to find once fall comes. Yes, I cheer. Plain ones, no words or pictures. I grab 2, and Mom adds 2 more. Oh, and maybe this. I yank a zip-up hoodie off the circular rack. The hanger flips off the rack and flies over my shoulder. Whoa! Aurora, go gently. Mom says while Gracia hides a laugh. I can't help it. They've got hopping hangers in here. I bounce up and down and swing the hoodie in the air. Cedar's watching me. He starts to giggle. Then I hear more giggling, and I see 2 girls and 2 moms. One mom and daughter have dark tumbles of hair, almost exactly the same. They're wearing a bright tunic tops with embroidery and mirror beads over their blue jeans. You could never find tops like that here in Rennie's. They look like something from India, I think. Then the mom speaks. How to put fun into a shopping trip. Yep, I hear the Indian accent. Her dark eyes dance to Cedar. That chuckle is so cute. Don't you think so, Lena? The little girl nods and grins. The other mom is redheaded, and the girl is very blonde, with a pink sunburn over her nose, cheeks, and shoulders. Everyone's smiling, and I even see them notice Frenchie, who's being quiet beside our cart and staring up at the lights again. Sometimes, when there's a lot going on, Frenchie picks one thing to focus on. The blonde girl looks up like she's trying to see what he's looking at. It's the lights, I say, unless it's got a bird inside or a clothes hanger. We laugh. We laugh. I hold the hoodie up and make a goofy face. Guess I'll try this on. I hope they'll stick around. I want to make them laugh some more. But they wave and disappeared around the next aisle. Oh well. Gracia, whose mom says is the best shopping partner, ever finds me 2 pairs of leggings. I love 'em, I say, even better than the ones you picked for me last year. Oh, good, Gracia laughs. It makes me cold to see your bare legs in the winter. New can be nice. Besides, I did go through the knees of the old ones during the mud season. Mom stands by, nodding. I peel out of the hoodie, and Gracia hands me a long-sleeved tee. I slip it over my tank. It's you, Gracia says. I love that she knows what I like. It's me, as long as we can get this scratchy tag out of the neck. I reach back and tug at the neck of the shirt and let out a growl. Of course, Gracia says, we'll have our annual detagging ritual. Oh, meanwhile, you need underpants, Mom says in her loud mom voice. Oh, underpants, you say? Not sure the people over in the bird seed aisle heard you, Mom. And I point across the store. Mom laughs. She takes Cedar, who wants out of the cart now anyway, to go find underpants. Gracie and I look around some more, and Frenchie makes sure my clothes and his clothes have nice space between them in the cart. He likes some things to be done in a certain way, but something else seems to be bothering him. He's making little fists by his side. I get an idea in my head. Hey, you want to push? I say, and he steps right up. He wraps his hands around the bar and starts the cart rolling. There you go. Come on. We'll find Mom and Cedar. See if they found some underpants. Aurora, you are a thoughtful friend, Gracia tells me as we stroll. Well, he asked for something he wanted, I say, so it's a little bit him asking and a little bit of me guessing. Guessing correctly, Gracia uses her butter voice. You are truly special. I smile and give a little shrug and think I'm Frenchie's special person. Then I remember the placement letters from the school. I swallow hard because the thing is, Frenchie is my special person too. I think, it's coming, Aurora. You're going to be in Miss Beckia's class, but Frenchie will be in Miss Hilbrick's apart. I can't picture it. My heart begins to sink. Cedar comes running. His dark curls bounce on his head. His chubby cheeks bounce on his face. He's holding a pack of underwear by one corner, swinging it hard. He runs at us and wriggles by. I go after him, calling, Cedar, come back here with that. He stops and flings the package up in the air. It spins right up over the top of the display. I cover my mouth and catch Gracia's eyes. We hear the package land in the next aisle over, then a lot of laughing. I race around to the end of the aisle and see the two girls and the two moms. Again, the sunburned girl is bent over laughing. The girl in the bright tunic smiles. She holds the pack of underpants out for me. I think these are yours. Or I think these are for you. I love how she says it and asks at the same time. Yup, I jab my thumb over Cedar. He tossed them up and over, I say as Mom and Gracia and Frenchie meet us in the aisle. Soon we are talking to Joanne Waller and her mom from Collingswood, New Jersey, and Lena Ferrani and her mom from Atlanta, Georgia. Ha! I think the girl from far away and the girl from farther away. The moms talk to each other and the girls talk to me. Cedar climbs the side of the shopping cart and Frenchie waits but faces away. Maybe he understands, or maybe he doesn't. But we're leaning that both Joanne and Lena have moved to town. Both are new this year, and both will be in my 6th grade class. With Miss Becca? Beckia! Yes, I whoop. I cover my mouth with both hands and bounce on the balls of my feet. I'm making Lena and Joni laugh, and I love it. The moms are agreeing that we should get together before the start of school, and that we should do that this Saturday at Pebble's Nest. Lena and Joanne want to come. And me, I'm thinking the strangest thing of all, if it is possible that this is going well. But then it starts. Frenchie sways and moans. There's too much going on inside of Rennie's now. Too much for Frenchie. These are new people. Everyone's excited, and we're talking too loudly and all at once. He rocks and holds tight to the shopping cart. His moaning turns into a hollow, ooh, ooh, and all I can think of is we're going to have to leave, and I so don't want to. I tell myself, don't be dirt, Aurora. I know Frenchie can't help this. He is in a super struggle. He's suffering. Gracia once said being upset gives him more pain than the times he's actually injured. We have to make it better for him right now. Gracia is on it. She tells him, I'm here, Frenchie, in the buttery voice. She takes a few steps with him. She turns to everyone and smiles her gentle smile. We need to move towards the checkout. So, Rennie, follow whenever you are ready. We'll be right behind you, Mom says. I know she means it. Right behind you, I echo. I feel the pull to go with them, but I am pulled to stay where I am. Bye, Frenchie. Bye. Lena and Joanne and both their moms call after him shortly. They seem to understand. Mom stays to get phone numbers. See you Saturday, I tell the girls, and I hustle to catch up to Gracie and Frenchie. She is cooing with him, letting him know that she's there for him. She'll pull him out of this. And she does. By the time we leave, Frenchie is more himself. He carries his new clothes in the Rennie's bag right against his chest. I'm more myself too. The Saturday plan with the new friends is a go. I'm keeping a cork in my excitement, but I can't fool Mom. She gives me a wink. She knows how I feel. I am over the moon. In the evening, Frenchie and Gracie come to our house. Pop starts up the pancake supper. We like them fluffy, so he separates the eggs and whips the whites. Frenchie kneels on the kitchen stool and stares into the batter bowl. He loves to watch the mixer. I hear Pop telling him, see how it gets foamy first? Keep watching. Stiff peaks will form. Gracie and Mom sit on the couch, picking the stitches out of the tags on some of the new clothes. Mine and Frenchie's. We both go bonkers about tags. Sort of funny how the kid who likes his belt pulled tight can't stand tags. Me? I just can't stand them either. I have built up some energy inside of me tonight, and it wants out. I get on my back on the floor and do bicycle legs and fist pumps. I happen to look at Gracia as she leans down to bite the thread out of one of my new tops. Ptooey, she says and picks the thread off of her lip. Go, Gracia, go get him any way you can, Mom says with a laugh. Nice of you doing all that thread picking, I say from my spot on the floor. I roll back and push up into a shoulder stand and continue to bike. I don't have enough patience for that. Of course, if you know me, you know that. We're up to the challenge, Mom says. I'm glad that back-to-school shopping is done. She says that every year. Mom mouths a thank you to Gracia. She thinks I don't see her do it, but I do. Such a nice coincidence meeting new girls and new moms today, Gracia says. I'm looking forward to Saturday. I say, but I hope she won't say much more about it. I let my shoulder stand go off balance, faking it. Whoa, 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 and I pretend to concentrate. I liked those girls, Lena and Joni, and I feel like they already like me back. 2 new girls in my class. Imagining what it would be like was getting all tangled up Imagining what that would be like was getting all tangled up with knowing I wouldn't be with Frenchie. How was he going to do without me? And how would I do without him? All right. Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoy the rest of the story.